Building your dream ideal custom home can feel like a daunting process where you live right around the corner or if you live out of state, but it doesn't have to be if you have the right connections. And that's always my goal with this YouTube channel, is to introduce you as a consumer to some of my favorite people to work with. And I have Matt Ellington with me. He's the Chief Development Officer for Grand Bay Construction. And Matt, I really want you to talk about the exact processes that you guys follow and introduce yourself a little bit and exactly why the person watching this should work with Grand Bay Construction.
Absolutely. Like you said, I manage the development side of things for Grand Bay Construction. Wasn't always that way.
Yeah.
We started off small and have grown with over 20 years of experience in our market, understanding really all the details that come with that, the relationships that we needed to garner, the trade professionals, really understanding market conditions and watching that as we've gone through the rise and the fall of economic downturns or crises or whatever, to how to build a better home and build a product. And that's why I love what we're doing.
Yeah, I love it. And I think the coolest thing about you guys is obviously we're in a legacy home right now.
Yes.
This is a beautiful home here on the bay in Churchill Oaks on a double home site, and you can just see the amount of intention and design that went into this home.
Yes.
But you don't always just end up with a beautiful home like this. There's a ton of stuff that ends up before that. Not everybody gets to see that. So let's start with from a 2D print or whether we're looking at a lot itself. Let's talk about the early processes of working with Grand Bay.
Yeah, so we utilize a process that we affectionately like to call the Grand Bay Way. And that allows us to spend a lot more time focusing in with our clients, understanding how they're going to live, use the home, what are their goals and objectives. Really helping to identify their expectations so that when we are working with our design team, architectural team, and working through the structural components of the home, we can speak to means and methods that would be beneficial for them based on their use and what their desired budget is.
Yeah, and what's cool about that is that you take a lot of that, the emotional side of building a home, and you build a team to support that. Can you talk to us a little bit about the team we'll use this home for example, the team that went into building such a home like this?
Yeah, this home is really an incredible one for that feature, because this home took a vision, and that vision was originally cast by the architect. And then the clients saw that vision, got a grasp of it, and brought some of their own personal touches to it. And then realizing and recognizing how they're going to use the home and what their goals and objectives were as far as budget goes, we worked alongside with them to bring in the right team. What designers do we need on board? What trades do we need on board? How do we even look at some of the details of how we construct the home to make it perfect for them? It is a truly custom home, and those people, those individuals that we work with, we call that relational capital. And so those are those relationships that we've had with personnel through the 20 years of being in this market, making sure that each one brings a contribution to the home that's truly unique and that speaks to our clients' objectives.
Yeah, and I think one of the first phone calls we talked about was just kind of the idea of working with someone's budget, right? And that's kind of the hard part. And the fun part of our early stages of our job is we work with people that want to buy these beautiful $1 million lots, right? But then when we get into the build process, obviously that cost per square foot continues to grow and grow as you incorporate more wants and needs. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you kind of incorporate that into the overall process?
Yeah, so going, like you suggested, the first part of this is acquisition of a lot. And so we can help speak into a little bit of that, but really boiling down to where do these folks want to live? How do they want to use their home? And then we want to be smart. We want to be a good steward of how we have these resources. And we look at this as this is an investment irregardless of whether it's going to be a family home and it's passed down, or some of our clients choose to put them on the market from a speculative perspective. And so we want to really understand that goal, and then to what level we want to develop the home. And so we sort of start with the end in mind and work backwards in that process to really help identify and hone in what does it look like from a square footage perspective to the level of finishes and details like you see what we're sitting in now.
Yeah, and I think it takes a team of obviously working with designers to understand prices better, the entire build process.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're super excited about that you guys are working on next?
Yes, yeah, we are really excited about a good flavor of different homes, and
Awesome.
Personalities, style of homes, locations of homes. Where we are in Churchill Oaks, so we've got a few more looking in here. There's some exciting new news for Churchill Oaks and what's lays ahead in the near future for here. But we're also looking at projects in Draper Lake, in Camp Creek, in Caroline Beach. Gulf front along Seaside and Seagrove area. So we're seeing these really cool opportunities pop up that each one is unique in its own personal way, and they speak to the clients that we work with.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, from the intentional design standpoint of a custom home, working with different builders, some of the common elements can kind of run together.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed that in any of your builds. We had the privilege of showing off a ton of homes here in Churchill Oaks. Walking in this house, which, like I said, double home sites here, looking out over the bay. The one right next door has so much personality in it that it's so custom that it just feels comfy. It feels like someone that, as soon as they move in, they're going to be at home. So I think you guys do an amazing job on the personality side. If someone wanted to incorporate their wants and needs into a list, what's kind of the best way to kind of start the process? Like, as a consumer watching this video, doing a little homework, what is the best thing to kind of start hitting the ground running?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is just to reach out. I mean, we like to, I like to travel, so I can go meet you on your home turf. We like to do that. I think that's a value add. Not waiting for someone to schedule time, especially vacation time, to come down. So let's get a conversation going. Let's see if we can meet. I like to do that face to face and really understand their lifestyle and work through their goals and directives. And I have some questions that we can work through and help identify those. But really just start by reaching out and let's talk. Let's see what we can come up with.
And if you guys need help, obviously buying a lot, whether that's Churchill Oaks or anywhere in Santa Rosa Beach, would obviously love to work together to make sure that's ideal lot for you. As he said, start the conversation early. There's not a ton of land left in our area, but it creates a super exciting opportunity, whether that's a custom home or a spec home.
That's great.
If you have any questions, we'll have both of our informations in the links below, and we'll talk to you guys soon.